козаки, браття, сестри, козацького роду, у серці живе Україна, крові мої, Україна, діаспора, 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 діаспора. Що ви нові козаки, іноземці козацького роду, ви всі свої, Україно, всі свої, Україно, діаспора, діаспора, діаспора. Diaspora, diaspora, diaspora.
Ukrainians from Leeds, England, and that is the title track of their CD released a few years back now, Diaspora. Добрий вечір, шановні радіослухачі, та вітаю вас всіх на радіопередачу «Наш Холос» радіо українського коріння, котра подається вам, як звичайно, щосуботи о 6 годині на багатомовній радіостанції AM 1320 CHMB у місті Ванкувері і по мережі PCJ Радіо Міжнародному. При мікрофоні Павліна Макорі, дякую, що рішили перебути зі мною наступну годину. Ми маємо дуже цікаві новини на сьогоднішній програмі. Hello there and welcome to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on AM 1320 CHMB in beautiful downtown Vancouver, actually. Broadcasting from Richmond, and I'm not sure where the tower is. Anyways, they're also in international syndication on many towers around the world on PCJ Radio International. I'm your host, Paula Demchik-McQuarrie, Pukrinske Pavlina, and I'm delighted to have you with me. We've got a great program lined up for you on Ukrainian Jewish heritage. An interview with Adrian Zwicker, the actor who played the role of the SS officer in the film Chuzha Molitva, A Prayer of Strangers, and 87 Children, the English subtitled version. On the last episode of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage, we featured the story of this film and the story itself, that of a Crimean Tatar woman who saved 88 Jewish children from 2 genocides in World War II. Adrian will share his experiences of what it is like to play the role of such a cruel character as an SS officer during the Holocaust. We'll also have our usual proverb of the week, other items of interest, and great Ukrainian music. And coming up next, Ukrainian-American singer Andriana Knapp with a song from her CD, Songs from Home, Pisni z Domu, and Chemu trava zelena, Why is the Grass Green?
Ще молода, шум дівчина горда, як кохаюся. Чом треба землина, бо ще молода, чом дівчина горда, як бистра вода.
Thanks to the foresight and generosity of its donors, the Taras Shevchenko Foundation has been investing in the future of the Ukrainian-Canadian community for over 50 years. Since 1963, the Taras Shevchenko Foundation has been funding initiatives that strengthen our Ukrainian-Canadian identity and enhance our Ukrainian-Canadian cultural heritage. These include fine and performing arts and arts groups, museums, cultural centers, education, as well as authors, journalists, and the Ukrainian-Canadian media, including this program. The foundation strives to become the premier not-for-profit foundation in a Canada which acknowledges the Ukrainian-Canadian community as a fundamental component of Canadian society. Nash Holos listeners are encouraged to support this vision through continued donations into the future. To apply for grants, make a donation, or for more information, visit shevchenkofoundation.com.
Там у вишневому саду, там соловейко щебетав, додому я просилася, а ти мене все не пускав. She's got it, your baby, she's got it. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Зійшла зоря, проснеться матінка моя, буде питать, де була я. She's got it, your baby, she's got it. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Down, 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 down. She's got it, your baby, she's got it. Hey, я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Я просила, а мене ти не пускав. Там у вишневому саду, там соловейко щебетав, додому я просилася, а ти мене все не пускав. She's got it, я маю нові шкари. Ти просила, а тебе я не пускав. Ти просила, а тебе я не пускав.
and the fabulous Picaradisca Tercia from Ukraine channeling the shocking blue there with their rendition of Venus. Up next, we're going to change the pace again a little bit and definitely change the genre. We have the Coopasonics up next from Newfoundland right now, and from their most recent CD, Coop Funland, and kind of a sort of a country, I don't know, cross-genre version of Ukrainian folk song Ottoman.
Місяць не світить, жив великий отаман. Він земельку ма свою і весь час був собою жив на світі, так і отаман. Я б хотів жити, як отаман, і дівчину українку мати там. Я би жив десь на степі, де кликають лелеки, де весело моє діти будуть жить. Там десь я народили, ніхто їм того не боронив. Вони могли все робити, по-своєму говорити, так як батько колись їх не вчив. Я б хотів жити, як той отаман, і дівчину українку мати там. Я б жив десь на степі, де кликають лелеки, де весело мої діти будуть жити. Жив великий отаман. Він земельку мав свою і весь час був собою жив на світі, так і отаман. Я б хотів жити, як той отаман, і дівчину українку мати там. Я б жив десь на степі, де кликають лелеки, де весело мої діти будуть жити.
Головна мета Ukraine War Amps – це допомога пораненим воїнам та патріотам, які захищають свободу своєї країни у сьогоднішній війні за Україну. Ukraine War Amps представляє програму «Всино ви солдата». З вашою підтримкою наша організація зможе передавати принаймні $50 США щомісяця для цільової підтримки якомога більшого числа українських героїв. 100% зібраних коштів буде передано напряму героям, пораненим у війні за Україну. Програма «Всино ви солдата» будує унікальний зв'язок між вами і солдатом, якого ви підтримуєте. Все починається з вас. Візьміть під опіку солдата, підтримайте Героя України.
Ти сказала в понеділок, підем разом на барвінок. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела.
Що Віктору поцілуєш разом сором. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Підманула, підвела. Ти сказала всередину, підем разом на череду. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Підманула, підвела.
Сказала, що в четвер підем разом на спацер. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела.
Підем разом на криницю. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Підманула, підманула, підвела.
Ти сказала, що в суботу підем разом на роботу. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела. Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела.
And more genre crossing for you there. That was by Migrena from Edmonton. From their CD, Beauty is Not Contagious, and a very bluesy version of Tijamina Pid Manula, which translates as You Deceived Me. Well, back to some genre authenticity now. We have another group from Edmonton. They're called Trembita, with a traditional Ukrainian folk song done in pretty much the traditional style. Here they are now, Trembita with Chovin, the Floating Boat Waltz.
Every day, more Ukrainian soldiers are killed or wounded by Russian invaders. You can help wounded heroes by joining the Adopt a Soldier program of registered charity Ukraine War Amps. A small monthly donation goes very far for medical services and living expenses and creates a special bond between you and a wounded hero. 100% of your contribution goes to the soldier. Please, adopt a soldier today. Visit ukrainewaramps.ca or find us on Facebook.
Дівчино молода.
Маві раз, дівчинонько, чуприненьку, люблю ж тебе, душечку рум'яненьку. Гей, гей, ха, ха, дівчино, рибчино молода. Гей, гей, ха, ха, дівчино, рибчино втопитися стоїть хвосте, а вода холодна і ломе косте. Гей, гей, га, ха, дівчина, рибчина молода. Гей, гей, га, ха, дівчина, рибчина молода. Мабіраш, дівчинонько, чупруненьку, любиш тебе тушечку рум'яненьку. Гей, гей, га, дівчина, рибчина молода. Гей, гей, га, дівчина, рибчина молода.
And Sluhai from Winnipeg with Małjaras Dziewczynonku, Once I Had a Girl.
This is CHMB, AM 1320, Vancouver.
And now for a look at Ukraine's rich Jewish heritage, then and now, brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario. Little is known about the Crimean genocide, Stalin's deportation and exile of Crimean Tatars in 1944 after 2.5 years of Nazi occupation. Even less is known about the Jews who lived in Crimea and their fate during this time. In 2017, a Ukrainian film was released telling the story of a Crimean Tatar woman who saved the lives of 88 Jewish children, first from the Nazi Gestapo in 1941 during the Holocaust, and then again in 1944 from the Soviet NKVD during the Crimean deportations. The film's title is Chuzha Molitva, which translates as A Prayer of Strangers. It was filmed in Russian, Georgian, and German, and later dubbed into Ukrainian. An English subtitled version was released in Toronto in 2018 with the title 87 Children. Adrian Zwicker is an Austrian actor who played the SS officer in the film. He joins me now by phone from his home in Berlin. Welcome, Adrian, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for the invitation. Actually, I'm not in Berlin right now because I'm shooting a movie in southern Germany.
Oh.
And right now I'm in my hotel room.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember now. You told me that you're starting work on a new film. So thanks again for taking time here on Nash Holos to talk about your role in A Prayer of Strangers. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Austria, but I've been living in Berlin for 18 years now. I'm from a small town in the southern part of Austria. After the school, I went to the acting academy, state academy in Vienna, where I did a 4-year education of being an actor and basically started in theater acting, which is quite normal in Europe. So you're getting all the basics, you know, from Shakespeare and so on, and you do all those training years. But film was already in my life when I was a teenager. I was really anxious to see all the new movies, and I went to the movies all the time. And in the times of VHS, you know, my father brought me home all those nice films, and I had a really, really big collection of all these cassettes, you know, and it started pretty early for me to be a love of mine, actually, to make movies. And started pretty early with a big film, an Austrian film, and then it moved on, and I've been doing more and more films. But that film was the first one, actually, I did in Ukraine, and we also shot in Georgia, in Tbilisi, in the capital, and that was really great. because I wouldn't have gone there. I didn't know so much about that country. And the reason we shot there was because today it looked like the Crimean Peninsula at that time. Because not only that, you couldn't, at that time, today you couldn't even shoot there because of the Russian occupation. So there was no way we could go to the original places.
You speak English very well. Did you learn to speak English then when you were going to school in Austria?
Thank you. First of all, we learned it in school already. So in Austria or in Germany, you have to learn English kind of from the start. And as I said before, I was really watching a lot of movies, and I really watched them in the original language. And of course, the American British movies were the most viewed. And I think also living in Berlin is a very multicultural place, and I have many friends who talk English with, not even German. So I guess I have a lot of practice.
Yeah. I guess so. So how did you end up then getting this role in a Ukrainian film?
Actually, my agent called me. She was getting a note from the production of the film, and somehow I think it even started with Facebook, because, in Ukraine and in the whole eastern part of Europe, they use Facebook more as a business tool, which we don't in Germany, actually.
Oh.
And I think they found me via Facebook, and then they just called my agent and asked if I could play the part. And Aktem Saitablayev, the director, he really wanted to cast that part with an original, German-speaking actor, because all the other cast was actually Ukrainian or Georgian background. And I think it was very important to him for this to be, as authentic as possible. And I also had to, since I don't speak Russian or Ukrainian, I played my part in German. But that worked pretty well, though.
So how did you prepare yourself for such a role?
And for an actor, it's really cool to play a villain. If it's a Nazi or a murderer or whatever, it's honestly, it's the most fun to go into this dark side and to get into these kind of dark characters. And, it's much more interesting, basically, than to play the nice guy. It's much more work involved, and that's what I always loved about acting. You can play somebody who is very far away from myself, So I'm a really a sunny guy, if you can say that. I'm a nice guy in real life. So that was a part wasn't actually that far away from me, because the guy Heinrich, the part I'm playing, he was a very well-educated man, and he was interested in art and history, and he spoke several languages, and he was sometimes like a schoolboy, on a trip to Ukraine, and he was interested in the artifacts, the German artifacts, which have been found on the Crimea Peninsula. So it was, not only that the SS had to swipe out those villages and kill those Jewish people, but his personal quest was to find these artifacts and to reestablish the German culture, this old antique culture there. It was kind of crazy thought, like Hitler was, he was interested, and it became an obsession for him to go there. And he fell in love with this kindergarten teacher, with Saider, the main character.
Oh.
And if you see the film, you find this really a nice guy. But then on the other hand, they had a task. There was the SS was brutal, and it was a genocide. And then you see this nice character falling in love, being nice, and then the next moment, the next scene, you see this guy shooting a little kid. And that's what we also wanted to portray. How could somebody do that? And that was also crazy to get into that. And yes, it is hard. It was hard. It's not, you have sleepless nights preparing for that kind of part. And it was frightening to really stage those scenes where, for example, I really had to, grab that child and shoot it and stuff. And really, I had to cry there and On the other hand, no matter how bad the character is, you can also play Richard III, who was killing all those people or whatever. If you go there, it's the same thing every time. It's just acting. In the end, you say, well, this is the story we want to tell. And I'm playing that character, and it's maybe hard to go there, but in the end, we have to deliver. And you go in there the same way you would play any other character, actually. Wow. And you use the same techniques to get into it. And, being that person, he didn't think about himself as a bad character. So it's only for us to see, these kind of brainwashed characters.
Yeah.
Be involved in this kind of crazy war crimes.
Yeah.
But as I said before, as an actor, you want to go there. You want to go deep, and afterwards, you think kind of it was fun. And it was but also a big honor to be involved in that movie and to tell that story.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're in the audience and you're watching a movie and you get drawn into the story. You tell the story very well, and so you forget about that. That's not the actual character, and to hear you describe you having to portray somebody that you're not, for one thing, and to go into that dark side. We know the history of war. Everybody knows it's awful, but if you're in a country where you've never grown up with it and you're trying to understand it, it seems like it is so easy. Like the line between a decent human being and somebody that becomes a war criminal or any other kind of criminal seems like a very, very fine line. And I think it's good for people to realize that I could be that person, possibly. Right? Yeah, and if you can get that message across, I think that's very, very powerful a thing to do.
Yeah. I think that was what we wanted to tell, that is very compared to actual history. If you look at the uprising of the right-wing parties in Germany and Austria and, Poland and even France and stuff, then you start to think differently about that, because this is a very fine line, and it never started with total extremes going on the streets and catching Jews or, it's this small little things, this changing of language, and that it's being allowed and people don't care. People don't do anything about it. That's also part of a crime already, not standing up, saying anything. All these things, they didn't start just overnight. It took some time and some events to go there. And that's why it's so dangerous again today, and that's why also this film is very important for modern society, to see all those connections and to see what you said, like this fine line. That's very important to tell that story.
Yeah. Did you know about the story of Sadie Arifova and the Jewish children she saved?
Not before I got the script. No. I was very hit by this tragic story. And when I read it, I was feeling really terrible that I even didn't know about that part of history.
Oh, nobody does.
For me, as an Austrian or German, we have that very much put into our education system. So even as a small school kid, you will learn about the Nazi crimes. This is very important, and we learn about it again and again and again. Living in Germany or in Austria, you cannot avoid to learn about this. So we know quite a lot, even as young people, about those crimes. But on the other hand, there were so many places and so many different stories where it took place. And even with my knowledge, I'm always surprised that I didn't know so many other details. Like, for example, I was doing this other film in Italy where I also played a Nazi officer, and it was about the Italian resistance in northern Italy. But I didn't know about that. So it's like, but if you're not a historian, you would not get into it so, detailed. And the story of 87 children was the same. It was the first time where I started to read about the story of Saideh, and it was very emotional. And that was the first time I heard about it, so really.
And do you know anything about the Crimean deportation of 1944 before you took on this role?
not so well also, not so well. I was visiting concentration camps already as a teenager, and you hear that from all over the place. The whole war was so devastating.
Yeah.
So basically, I wasn't really so much aware before I went there to shoot a movie about Ukraine or about Crimea. So I learned a lot about that from being involved with the movie, and from my actor colleagues and from working with the director.
Mm-hmm.
So we went into this topic quite deeply, and that's it was a very emotional time. And today, with the Russian occupation, all this history, to meet with the Tatar people and to talk to them, and it was sometimes really heartbreaking. A lot of people in Ukraine are very warm and open-hearted, and even more in Georgia. I was like having those wonderful moments and really made some new friends.
Aww.
And
Nice.
these people, still have that weight on their shoulders from the Soviet Union, from that time, from this occupation time. And also it goes back really to the war, to the Second World War. And they still kind of live that even more than we do maybe in Germany. And they still suffer from all that history. And for me as a person, but also as an actor, it was a great experience actually. And I still have a lot of friends there where I Skype with them and stuff. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. So you were filming in Georgia, and you were saying this because the topography is similar to Crimea, where the story took place.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. It's amazing, really. I can only suggest you to go there if you have the chance to go there someday.
I would love
beautiful.
to. Yeah, I would love to go to Georgia. I actually was in Crimea in 2008, and
oh, really?
I went with my mom and a couple of sisters and a couple of nieces, and we went on. We were in Yalta. Yeah, we flew into Simferopol, took a bus, went through Bakhchisarai, actually stopped and saw the Muslim palace there. Yeah, the Crimean Tatar Palace, and we had a meal in a restaurant and did a little bit of touring around Bakhchisarai. But it sounds like it was an incredible experience for you to be acting in this role. Did it change your life?
Yeah, of course. I found a lot of respect for those people, and like I said, I met some really, really open-hearted people, and you've been invited to private homes where they were cooking their food, and where you couldn't even leave, and you had to stay there the whole night drinking their vodka. And, that's very special there, and it's very meaningful. And maybe that if you have a meal with a party. And now we all together here, and it's so special, and we welcome our German friend to be with us, and this is our brother now, and it's like this kind of thing. It was really, really, really nice, and it changed my perspective. I didn't know a lot about Ukraine. Basically, if you ask people in Europe, in Germany about Ukraine, they don't know a lot about it.
Right.
Actually, it's just the news, and news channels owned by big companies, so you don't see the whole picture.
Right.
But going there, you see what is really going on there. And I traveled there again to visit. I have a good friend now. He's from Kiev, and he's become one of my best buddies. Actually, he's a German-Ukrainian actor, Sebastian Anton. He also played in the movie, as my second officer. And he's really become one of my best buddies in Berlin.
Oh, nice.
And so I had the chance to go back there, and even talking with people, I always tell them how beautiful it is to go to Ukraine. And of course, it changed my perspective of history again, to go deeper into these topics, to see the truth behind basic history we learn. And it kind of made me also a better person, to be able to play in such a movie, because maybe if I didn't get the part, I don't know if I would have gone there really, There's a lot of beautiful places in the world. I don't know if I would have picked that at that particular time.
Yeah.
But basically, any part as an actor you play, even if it's just a doctor or a police officer or, a villain, whatever you play, if you do it right, if it's a great script, if you have the chance to work with great co-actors and great directors, you can go deeper in that subject and you learn more about that and you learn more about yourself. And it can sometimes even feel like a therapy. Coming out of that kind of a movie, you feel like a different person. It also depends on how serious you take your job, but my part, I was always kind of doing the method acting, going deeper into these characters and becoming them in some sort. And, and that way you have that beautiful or terrible experiences and trips, and you found yourself on some weird places, on the top of a mountain in Georgia or in that Nazi uniform with other troops swiping around a city which looks like 1942. And that's what I always loved in my career, to be somewhere, to be somebody else. It's like an experience you would never have in your life if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
I really cherish that. I love that.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to hear your behind the scenes, how an actor feels about the role they play. And it's given me a new perspective, and I hope our listeners as well, when, we watch movies now to go deeper, as you have to go deeper in your job. And I think it's maybe our job, quote unquote, as decent human beings to think about that, to reflect on that. And good actors like yourself certainly help us to do that. So thank you for doing the work, for being so good at it, and thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts and your experience with us here on the show today.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It was a great pleasure. Actually, there's one more thing I'd like to say. That they were inviting me to Warsaw. Next week there will be a Jewish film festival where they invited the film 87 Children. Oh. And the director Aktem, he at the moment he's shooting on another film, and he asked me if I could go there instead of him, and I already told him that I would, but then this other movie, came in where I'm right now, so I couldn't go there. That was a pity because I would love to have presented the film there, but work comes first. So,
always, yeah. What are you working on now?
It's a film called Sinking Ship. It's actually a portrait of a small family going to the summer vacation, and it's about violence and losing control, and it's a very psychological family drama where I've been taking the lead role, and it's also very, very interesting. Like I said, it's good to dive into this part of your soul which you never explored. And you can go in there and be bad or be damaged, but then you go back to your hotel room or you go back home, and I'm Adrian again, and I'm a happy person, and I get out of it again. It's always good to be in there, but also good to come back.
Yeah. Amazing. So thank you again, Adrian. I really appreciate your time. Good luck on your new movie, and all the best in the future.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and thanks for the invite.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks, Adrian. I was speaking with Adrian Zwicker, the Austrian actor who played the role of the SS officer in the film Chuzha Molitva, A Prayer of Strangers. The English subtitled version of the film is called 87 Children. It is the story of a Crimean Tatar woman who saved Jewish children from 2 genocides during World War II, Hitler's Holocaust and Stalin's deportation of Crimean Tatars. Her story aired in the previous episode of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage. You can find the transcript and audio file at the Nash Holos website. For more information or a copy of the film, contact East West Film Distribution in Vienna, Austria. This is Pavlina, producer and host of Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio. Thank you for listening. Until next time, Shalom. Ukrainian Jewish Heritage is brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario. To find out more about their work, visit their website and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Transcripts and audio files of this and earlier broadcasts of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage are available at their website, ukrainianjewishencounter.org, as well as at the Nash Holos website, www.nashholos.com.
козак за Дунай, сказав дівчино, прощай, ти конику вороненький, скоро вирушай. Цілих ручок не ламай, ясних очі не стирай, мене звіни славою в собі ожидай. Лучше було б не ходить, лучше було б не любить, лучше було б хай не знать, чи тепер забувай. Вийшла ручки заломивши, тяженько заплакавши.
Як ти мене покидаєш, тільки подумай.
Постій, козаче, твоя дівчина плаче, на кого ж ти покидаєш, тільки подумай. Лучше було б не ходить, лучше було б не любить, лучше було хай не знать, як тепер пропадать. На коня, оставайся здорова, як не скину, то вернуся через 3 года. Лучше було б не ходить, лучше було б не любить, лучше було хай не знать, чи тепер пропадать. Їхав козак за Дунай, сказав дівчино, прощай, ти конику вороненький, скоро вирушай. Білих ручок не ламай, ясних очей не стирай, мене зріни славою в собі ожидай. Лучше було б не ходить, лучше було б не любить, лучше було хай не знать, як тепер пропадать.
And that was Anatoly Rudenko and the folklore ensemble Kiev with Yichał Kozak za Dunaj, a Cossack road beyond the Danube. You've been listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio, our flagship show in Vancouver, which comes to you Saturdays from 6 to 7 p.m. here on AM 1320 CHMB on the radio dial and online at am1320.com and in international syndication on PCJ Radio International. In between broadcasts, please visit us online, and that's www.nashholos.com, where you'll find transcripts and archived audio files for Nash Holos features like Ukrainian Jewish heritage, Kanishka Corner book reviews, guest interviews, a link to the Nash Holos podcast, and information about the show. There's also a link to our Patreon site where you can support our show if you like. На жаль, ми вже скінчили нашу програму, вже час додому і сказати до побачення. Але перед тим я хочу залишити вас такими словами мудрості. Заслужену кару треба приймати спокійно. And our proverb of the week translates as, one should accept deserved punishment quietly. Well, with that, our program comes to an end, so we've got one last toe tapper for you, and that will be the By Request Band from Steinbach and the In the Barn Polka. I'm Pavlina on behalf of all of us here at Nash Holos and AM 1320. Thanks for listening and dobranic!